Remember that kid? That kid who would sit in the back of class, their hood up, never talking. They never turned their papers in, they always made a ruckus. Remember how one day they didn't show up to school? Remember how people whispered drugs, abuse, jail? They whispered words to try and explain their absence. Do you ever remember the truth? The truth of how they didn't show up? Not because they went to jail or because they were caught with drugs or because they beat the ones they loved. Remember how their parents cried, attending a funeral with a picture of their child. He was so young, we never knew, they would say over and over, trying to fix their guilt. Remember hearing the truth. They walked home on a Monday, their eyes filled with tears, their body held bruises of school, their mind filled with the words of taunts and the names. They shut the door, writing a note, staining the ink with their tears until they were drowning in a pool of their own sadness. Remember what happened the next day? Remember how they grabbed that gun? The one they had for so long, the one they tried to use before. Remember how they put it to their head, crying, apologizing for the names people had called them, for the way they were abused, for the way people hated them. Remember the sound of the gunshot? The sound of footsteps and cries? Do you remember it? No? That's because you were home, laughing with your friends, listening to music, playing outside. You were happy and you never cared. And while you were playing and calling this kid names behind their back, while you were joking about them, telling them they had nothing left to live for, while you were doing all of this, that kid listened. The words filled his head, replacing his heart. While you were only joking, that kid killed himself. Due to the fact you didn't understand them, due to the fact they weren't popular, because they were quiet, because they never talked, because of the fact you never listened. This kid died. His parents grieved. He never grew up. He never found love. He never had children. All because he was different. All because he was alone. But you'll do the same thing over and over because you can't learn. You try and force your sadness on another until you can't bear it, until you become the kid, until you're alone, forgotten, broken. Before you die, just like him. You don't hate people because they're different. You never know what that person's going through. You never know the hell they live in. You never know